Hey guys, Brandon here. Welcome back to another video. So today I wanted to talk about financial hygiene and a glaring question of, is it the real reason why real reason why businesses fail is because they have poor financial hygiene. And to define financial hygiene, it's essentially the practice and habits that individuals who manage finances effectively maintain to have a quote-unquote healthy financial state. As a business, I would classify a healthy financial state as having a positive cash flow. And the habits are things like budgeting or saving and managing liabilities or debt responsibly in the business. And I kind of agree with this statement, not because I think everybody has poor financial hygiene, but instead it's the market volatility on certain things makes the unpredictability harder to manage, right? So if I am really good at budgeting and I'm really good at saving and I'm really good at making sure that I keep my liabilities to all these pieces of my business low, such as the suppliers, such as my operating costs, my advertising costs, all of these things, well, the market can come in here and spit in my face. And it doesn't even matter if I have good financial hygiene because the market says, nah, we're good. So it's a culmination of all of both the internal and external factors on why a startup truly fails. And depending on your philosophy or your viewpoint, you might actually never really fail at entrepreneurship or at your startup. It just gets redefined, reassessed, and built a different way to combat outside market factors. A good example of this could be a pest control organization. As a pest control individual, know that during certain seasons a pest will be on the rise, or if it's in the off season, no pests at all, I have to switch over to critters, for example. Well, one year we could have a lack of mosquitoes and not enough people calling in because there are just no more mosquitoes. But I, as the business owner, did everything properly. I budgeted, I saved, I managed my debt, but a factor that I could not control came in and said, hey, you can't do business this year because we just don't have the available need. So as we defined financial hygiene, wow, I adhered to everything that would promote positive financial hygiene, but yet I still got crushed. And the startup fails because I have multiple seasons of these bad market viability. So is that the norm? Is that why startups quote unquote fail? I don't really believe as much financial hygiene as it is a nice little experiment between me as the controller and then the outer market that I can't control. I could do everything right and still fail. I could do everything wrong and still succeed based on things that I can't control. So as a entrepreneur or as somebody who is getting into better habits, what they think are better habits for budgeting or saving, managing their debt, don't put as much emphasis on this as much as being able to pivot to the outer market using these methods. So example, if the outer market has reduced my entire revenue by 30%, I need to pivot on how I budget, how I save, or certain aspects of my organization need to pivot. This ability to pivot, I think, is more important than the financial hygiene aspect of your own system. If I can figure out a way to, I guess, undercharge a certain area for the word of mouth marketing, or if I can overcharge the value of my services, or if I can get a reduced rate on who I supply from. These things are pivoting measures that I can do that are more valuable than the static idea of financial hygiene. And the flexibility that comes with that pivoting is going to harden you to outer market ups and downs. If you have a boon one year, but you've developed such a hard exterior, then it's nothing but sunshine and rainbows. But if you haven't learned to harden yourself and you focus on this rigid idea of, okay, I budgeted this much, I saved this much, I can only have this much, well then a negative hit is going to hurt worse than the positive boons that you might see. Now, let's say that you're an international viewer and you are coming in from Indonesia and you see all the tariffs or you see all the deals being made and you're thinking to yourself, oh, my international textile business is about to get absolutely demolished. Well, if you had a rigid view of what financial hygiene is, you might be feeling the pain a lot worse, and you're thinking to yourself, I don't remember it being this bad. I don't think I managed my stuff poorly. I don't think that I did all of these things. And you focus less on the flexibility and being able to pivot your business either into a new version of textiles or being able to be flexible with your supply chain or even your volume or all the nuances. And that's what's funny, is because business is just a giant web of nuances to develop with the one goal of revenue. Or, if your goal is an idea, it's a singular thing, right? It's a web to do a singular thing. I lost my train of thought there. Indonesia, textile, pivot. If you were able to develop the flexibility over time, then when a market does things like this because of governments that you can't control or trends that you're unable to foresee, you're less likely to feel the detriment, or you're able to do different things to keep you afloat. So back to the final, I know I've said financial hygiene like 8 times in this video, but back to the core statement, the real reason startups fail is poor financial hygiene. I just overall don't think that has enough weight to it to be the end all be all statement. I think that there is more weight on the factors you can't control, and I think there's more weight needed to be flexible in the business, more than being able to budget and save. Obviously that's a factor, but it's not the end all be all factor, because again, you can save as much, you can budget as much, but those are all just mitigating factors. It's mitigating the damage to you when something's bad, and it's allowing you to thrive a little bit more when everything is good. But being able to pivot from an absolute decimating situation allows you to bounce back better. Let's say your textile mill caught on fire. That's a factor that you can't control. No amount of budgeting or saving is going to really help you in that. But if you always had a plan B of, hey, if something happens here, then we can set up this textile mill here in less than a week, be back up and running, instead of waiting for my budgeting and saving to pay for the insurance to be able to rebuild my current thing, creating a 4-month or 6-month, even a year wait time. The pivoting will be more valuable in the long run for your organization. Yeah, I think that's all I'm going to talk about for the financial hygiene. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you found it interesting, please share it with your friends. If you have a differing opinion and you place more value on financial hygiene, tell me a little bit about that. Why? If you have a experience of financial hygiene that allowed you to mitigate all the issues that came into hand, describe that to us. Let us see where your stance is. Let's take your perspective in, and let's understand how we can take financial hygiene and kind of restructure the framework and how we develop business going forward. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.